Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Garrison. I want to welcome you to this session of Humanity Rising, where we're going to contemplate one of my favorite subjects, and that is a Jungian depth psychological perspective on the transformation of the self. You know, in our world, what we're experiencing is a limitation as never before in our individual and I would say collective capacities to understand what's happening to us anymore. If you think back only 30 or 40 years, the world, as we look back on it, seemed very stable. There were ups and downs and there was conflicts, but basically we thought we understood the world. We thought we had some semblance of normalcy in our politics and ethics in our basic behavior with one another. And over the last 20 to 30 years, culminating in the last several months, the world seems to be spinning further and further out of control, with nobody anywhere able to understand it and explain it. And the center increasingly does not hold. And the reason for this at base, in my view, is that humanity now, globally, is beset by a range of crises, each one of which is of significant magnitude, but taken together, literally defy our rational intellect to understand how they interact and how we as a human race in our ethnocentric world can come together to solve any of them. Because our problems now are all global, and yet there is no institutional infrastructure for global discernment and global decision-making and global implementation of solutions. It's quite an extraordinary thing. And then to top it all off, the country that has been primus over the last 80 years, the United States of America, is succumbing and has just elected a president who, if you were going to describe his administration in a single phrase, is that we are watching a coup in slow motion as he embarks with ferocious intent on dismantling the democratic structures and norms and procedures that have characterized American democracy for the last 249 years. We'll be celebrating our 250th anniversary as a nation in 2026. And what we are doing at this extraordinary milestone moment is watching the new president dismantle the very structures that enabled America's greatness. So the world is without leadership. Confusion reigns. and our crises escalate and are synergizing as we watch helplessly to a very significant extent. In my view, that's what's true about our world. It's in times of intellectual collapse, such as these, where what begins to emerge from the depths of our psyche are symbols and images provided by what Jung called the self, that if internalized and integrated into the psyche, generate the energy required for transformational change, and what Jung calls the process of individuation. They come intuitively, they come in dreams, and I would say they are emerging into human consciousness through the presence of extraterrestrials. If you think about the extraterrestrial reality in our world, it's all gossamer. We know it's true. But like all symbols, you can see them like orbs in the sky, shape-shifting, beckoning, challenging, transforming, but never graspable by the human hands or the human mind. And that's the power of symbol. It emerges from within us, but somehow it's always outside of us. As Nikos Kazantzakis said about the phenomenon of God, he says the truest thing that you can say about God is that God is always receding. We can never quite catch it. And yet the pursuit of the divine and the pursuit of these symbols of the self are what changes us, even though we can never completely grasp it. It's an extraordinary mystery, this process of transformation, catalyzed by that which we yearn for, but do not fully understand. And in the face of which we can only bend the knee. So thank you, everyone, for joining us here on Humanity Rising. It's always a pleasure.